What's going on, Houston, Texas? Today is the beginning of a new set of videos for you guys on my channel. So remember, never forget to hit that bell to be notified when these videos come out. Because to be honest, I don't have an exact time on when they're released. I only have an exact day, and that is Friday through Monday. And so, in order to get notified, obviously YouTube has you guys clicking that bell, getting subscribed, hitting the like button, commenting. You guys know I'm very interactive with people commenting on my video. Just don't get too stupid, because I will tell you to fuck off. But anyways, man, today we get a chance to talk about J.J. Watt, and I've heard all kinds of things regarding J.J. Watt this season. I've heard things, to be honest, the last couple of years saying, let's trade J.J. Watt, let's cut J.J. Watt, he costs too much, he's always injured. But when I look at J.J. Watt, and even though the injury portion of what everyone says is right, apparently J.J. Watt is still the heart of this team. And I tell you something, in that Bills game, it was more evident than ever. Everyone was mad excited about him coming back from his pec injury, where most people, it's a season injury. They're not coming back. So another show of his freakness, another show of his body, really being something that we really haven't seen, and that we've been able to watch through the years. You look back at his 2014 year, where I truly believe that he was snubbed just because he's a defensive player of being the MVP. That particular year, he actually had a couple of touchdowns where they lined him up as a tight end. But he had 78 tackles, 20 and a half sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. The most since 1989 with Chris Dolman in the Vikings. And, he didn't win MVP. So ever since that season, and even though he's had even though he's had back-to-back 20-sack seasons, that was his best season, where he was not only scoring touchdowns on defense, but he was scoring touchdowns on offense, and yet still was not able to win MVP. So everyone looks at J.J. Watt and they expect him to be that player. And up to this point, I thought that was actually a very unfair assessment because of how banged up he has been, about how much he's gone to battle, how much he's actually been on the field with the sucky offense that we've had to complement him. But actually, his press conference was very revealing, man. As you guys know, he met with the media this week, and to me, he revealed quite a lot. And one of the things to me that was interesting was the fact that when they asked him about a contract extension, he said, no, I don't think that's wise. I think I'm still currently trying to prove that I'm worth my $100 million contract, which to me, I think he's already proved it. I don't think there's anything else he can do to prove about that particular contract. Or maybe he's referring to, leveraging that contract to get a new contract, whether it's a 1 or 2 year deal with the Texans. They've also asked him about his retirement, whether he wishes to retire with the Houston Texans, and he replied saying yes. Obviously, that's what he expects. That's what he hopes for. But at the end of the day, obviously it comes down to business. And we've talked about it on this channel before. If it's not the Texans, the 2 landing spots that would be ideal for him is one where his wife is, which is Chicago. Not the best team, obviously, with Trubisky, but, Foles might take over that job. And then, obviously, Green Bay. And Green Bay, obviously, looks to be on its way to transitioning to a new quarterback, as well as, obviously, they drafted a quarterback in the first round and fed a bunch of bullshit to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, man, look, to me, J.J. Watt is still the heart and soul of this team. There's no denying it. When you look at that Bills game coming off of that pec injury, nobody was making a play. Fucking team was looking sloppy as hell. We had fumbles on offense. We couldn't stop nobody on defense. They were doing trick plays on us. And then J.J. Watt said, enough is enough. Sacked, what's his name from the Bills? Josh Allen, and everything all of a sudden flipped on the axis and things started to click. So when you have that type of player that out of one play, now you got to think about it. It wasn't such a big play that the Bills didn't come out with no points. They still got a field goal out of it, but it was still so huge in that moment because it just sparked a fire on the whole team. It sparked a fire in the stadium. And so that's why to me it's like I doubt that they even force a trade with JJ Watt unless JJ Watt say, you know what, it doesn't seem that we're trying to agree on a contract. Why don't you guys just go ahead and trade him? Or at the end of the day, just release and walk as an unrestricted free agent and let him choose, on his own. A lot of people have argued that people would be more angry about J.J. Watt being traded or released than they are about Hopkins being traded. I think on my end, I would be as angry. A lot of people are saying J.J. Watt's years are past him. I'm sitting here saying, after that press conference, I think the man is actually after a mission this year. And, I've talked about it on this channel where I've said that it looks like because of how the bashing that they're doing to Deshaun Watson can very well make a run towards MVP status.
Contemporaries.
Other competitors, whether it's been Lamar Jackson or it's been Mahomes, they have actually won MVPs. So really, he's the only one left. Obviously, everyone's throwing Trubisky for dead. So, it'd be crazy, freaking crazy if Trubisky ever won. I mean, dude, like, it's already enough that Lamar and Mahomes has won one over Deshaun, and even that Mahomes has won the Super Bowl over Deshaun, given the status of every single team as they were going into that team. But yeah, man, I definitely think that it is Deshaun's moment to shine. But I could see a situation where J.J. Watt comes back in such a major way. I think if he can even get, he's had 16 sacks in the season, bro. And the crazy thing about it is that we look at his 20-sack season, and now it's become it's a normal thing for people to watch and look at. 20 sacks is now the bar that he's set, right? So if he doesn't get to 20 or anywhere close, people call it a failure. But to me, having a 16-sack season, bro, that's success. Especially when he led the season while he was out in most QB hits, and nobody could even catch up to him. That is crazy, man. The man, to me, is still productive. He's still the heart and soul of this team. And it doesn't look like it's anywhere ready to be transitioned, especially with the statements that J.J. Watt, mentioned in his press conference. We're definitely going to be reviewing that. We're not going to react to the whole press conference because, to be honest, guys, the press conference was 25 minutes. The press conference was 25 minutes, and for me to react to every question and hear every question, we will probably be here for an hour. And what I've noticed is that's way too much time for you guys' attention span. So we're really not going to do that. I'm not going to bore you to death with that. But we definitely want to look at some of the quotes that came out of that press conference. Some of them I've already discussed with, his contract, with his view on retirement. And some, of course, we're going to review here next. Off the bat, they asked him about, his excitement about Anthony Weaver, the new defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. And he said, I love Weave. I think he's going to inject some fun and excitement into our meetings. I think he's done an incredible job with the D-line and will do an outstanding job as a defensive coordinator. And I've talked about it on this channel. One of the things that benefits Weaver being here and helping with the D-line for so many years is the fact that players know him. They know how to act around him. They know what he likes. They know what he doesn't like, right? Except for obviously the people that have been drafted, but they've already been meeting, so they're, obviously getting advice. They're already obviously observant of what's going on, of how their coach interacts with them. And so look, it's excitement. And I think we're all excited to see what this defense could be. And if Anthony Weaver can give J.J. Watt an 18-sack season, I think this is where we start debating whether, J.J. Watt should earn MVP status, especially everything that his body has gone through. If that man can get to that elite level again, can he, steal MVP status from his best friend Deshaun Watson? Next question they asked him is, about the NFL season and the possibility of playing without fans, which, as you guys know, in Texas, they've actually said that they are allowing, as of today, 25% capacity of fans in the stadium, which for the Rockets, that's good news because that's pretty much every night. No, sorry. I didn't mean to throw that slick shot. And then for the Texans, obviously, they're looking to get, 100% capacity of fans. And there's still time, right? We're barely in May, going into June. And, the NFL season, the real season, doesn't start until September. So I think by that time, capacity, will be allowed. And everyone should be able to get a seat next to their neighbor. Another thing that they asked him was J.J. Watt on the Hopkins trade. And, he said, actually, the Hopkins trade and his organization has done enough to win, which actually, back to my point, they were asking, pretty good questions of J.J. Watt. I feel like they were throwing J.J. Watt right in the fire. But J.J. Watt's too experienced with the media to fall for any of that crap. So his answer to his question was, that's why people have jobs in those positions, coaching staff, GM, front office, that's their job. They have to answer for their job. I have to answer for my job. We each answer the bell to our own call. And to an extent, he's not lying. At the end of the day, it's up to Cal McNair to evaluate, Bill O'Brien and say, look, you've been GM, you've been coach, you've play called, you've done everything. You've brought in advisors, you've brought in coaches for Deshaun Watson. It's not working. You're not moving. You seem to be stuck. Maybe it's a good thing for you to have a change of scenery and for the Houston Texans organization to also have a change of scenery themselves. Another question they asked him about is the unique off-season. He said, as long as you get yourself in the physical shape necessary, you'll be able to hit the ground running. We talked about this. I think the Texans have been one of the teams that have been stressing this on their players. You've seen the Houston Texans players being out there putting in work. I didn't know this, but apparently the weights that Justin Reed had at his house were weights that were shipped off from the team. Why they didn't have enough weights for every player, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, man, look, whether it's Lonnie Johnson, whether it's Justin Reed, whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's Will Fuller or Kenny Stills, J.J. Watt, Charles Omenihu, even Brian Anger, up to like everybody really putting in the work, focusing on this season, knowing that last season was cut short, unfortunately, and it was something that they could have controlled, not something that they couldn't. And I think that's what everyone is looking forward to. They're looking forward to. The fans are looking forward to. And we're just excited, man. Another thing they asked J.J. Watt was on his goals. He said, my goal every season is the same, to do whatever is possible to help the team win, number one. And that means staying healthy and playing at my peak physical level. This is a statement where I was like, well, I think J.J. Watt doesn't seem to think the same thing that everyone else is thinking, which is that his prime has gone past him. I think what he's thinking is, even in my 16th season sack where I had injuries, where I wasn't there my full season, you give me a couple of more games and I don't go down with an injury, and I could have gave you another 20 sack season. I mean, I'm telling you, it hasn't happened. So if he does it again, bro, he definitely will be pushing for MVP status. And I think he'll shut down a lot of critics who honestly want to ship him off right now. But here's my thing. If you're going to ship away J.J. Watt, you got to have a replacement. Do you have a replacement? Do you have his replacement? Do you have that heartbeat in the defense right now? I don't see it. When J.J. Watt went down, the defense also went down. And obviously, we can talk about J.J. Watt maybe not being ready to come back. He obviously made a splash in the Bills game, but he looked gassed in the Chiefs game. And, that comes with having time off of not playing the sport. Listen, if I don't play soccer for 2 weeks and I get back on the field, I feel it. So as an athlete, I understand that. I completely understand that. You can be, lifting weights or, running track and doing speed drills, but none of that changes it because you haven't been playing game speed. And so, that's really what it comes down to. So I really like his mentality on that. Then they asked J.J. Watt on Bill O'Brien and what makes him a good head coach, which to me, he actually didn't really answer that question, because he says here, in terms of internet and fans, I see everything. My head isn't in the sand. We have to win. Winning cures everything. The goal is to bring this city a championship. I want all the fans to be with us moving toward that. Now, this is actually what he said after he mentioned the fact that, hey, Bill O'Brien excels at being GM and head coach. That's why he's there. And to me, that's just like an answer just to give an answer. This answer here, where he talks about the internet and fans, look, the Texans know it, man. They're not blind to it. Most of them are on social media. And that's one thing that the fans, I feel like, have done a good job about. They haven't stopped being relentless about letting the organization know that, hey, we're here and we're watching. You're talking about you have the answer now. You're talking about that spreading the ball is going to bring a new level of achievement for this organization, which either would be the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl. And everyone is just sitting back and saying, okay, we're watching. September's not here yet, but come week one, if they look like they looked against the Ravens last year, bro, they're going to eat this organization alive. Next question they asked him about, and I think the most important question of this press conference, is they asked him about George Floyd. If you guys don't know about George Floyd, he was a young African-American who was murdered, honestly. He was murdered. Cop literally asphyxiated him, never picked up his knee from the man's neck. And look, man, I'm going to tell you something. When I'm doing, let's say, decline bench press or decline dumbbell press, or sometime a position where I'm not as breathing as normal as I can, I feel that blood rush to my head. So for people to say, oh, that's not the way that he died, come on, let's be serious. The dude is literally telling you on the ground, I can't breathe. My body is hurting. My stomach is hurting. My head is hurting. I can't breathe. Please. And, dude, you got people recording who I feel like at one point should have stepped in. But anyways, people recording, people telling the officers, dude, he can't breathe. Can you just let him up? Can you just put him in the car? And so J.J. Watt's comment on this was, I've seen the video and I think it's disgusting. I agree. To me, it doesn't make any sense. A man in handcuffs being detained. I don't understand the situation. I think it needs to be addressed strongly, obviously, and it's upsetting. And it is upsetting, very upsetting. And I hope that they are brought, to justice. And obviously we have bigger issues here in America. Which leads me to this: how much people will we see kneel? How many NFL players will we see kneel? And listen, I am all for that if it's bringing attention to the main issue, because I think that's the problem, right? It sparks up here, then it dies out. Then it sparks up here, then it dies out. And at the end of the day, who continues to die is not just a story, but these young African Americans who have a future, who God created with a bright purpose. And I feel like everyone has a job to do in this world, and we're cutting those men's job short. And that to me is really not knowing the value of life. And I'm not with it. No one on this channel is with it. We don't dig it. Know what I'm saying? Can J.J. Watt to me make a MVP push? It's up to him, man. It's really up to him. It's really up to his body. And I really hope, like I said, it's not just hoping that Will Fuller is healthy. It's not just hoping that Kenny Stills is healthy. It's hoping that this whole team is healthy, man. Because I think Warren Moon was interviewed on 610 and he talked about the importance of the Texans making it to the Super Bowl depends on this team being healthy and having their core players throughout the whole season, including the playoffs. And I agree. You cannot disagree with that statement. But yeah, man, you guys take it easy. It's the beginning of a new weekend. Things are opening up Monday. I got my gym open. So early in the morning, I will be there. I will be lifting. And it's going to be a wonderful feeling, man. Glad to know things are starting to die out as they should have a couple of months ago. And don't believe the hype, man. This thing is done, baby. But anyways, you guys take it easy. You guys relax. H-Town, baby. Let's get it.